he was the party's voice and face when the party was in the opposition. But now, as a minister, Mr. Prakash Javadekar has dual responsibility: Minister of State for Forest and Environment, and of course Minister of Information and Broadcasting, two very important portfolios. A month into his ministership, he's had a busy schedule, but in that he's found some time for us. Mr. Javadekar, first as an environment minister, let me ask you some questions. You had a meeting with the Defence Ministry officials, and straight away you said that we will try and give priority to clearing the defence related projects. What was the idea in your mind, and what did you do?
See, unfortunately, Environment Ministry was being perceived as a ministry of roadblocks, of ministry of creating hurdles in the path of progress. It was regarded as being antithesis of development. I am environmental activist also, but I am pro-development also. So I know very certainly that these are not anti each other. Development and environment protection, both is important and both is possible simultaneously. So with that firm belief and conviction, we started, and I was member of the Standing Committee on Defence. For 4 years I studied in details. So I know for certain that hundreds of defence projects were pending for environment and forest clearance. So I was very upset on that agenda. China's border roads are very good. Our border roads are shambles because we have not given the environment clearances which is required. Our many bases, naval bases and many other bases are not being cleared. Many missile ranges are not cleared. So I knew for certain. So once I assumed the charge, I immediately first order was that please find out which defence projects are pending. Because I believe that if country is defended, the environment also will be defended. If country is not there, then environment will not be there. So in the name for environment protection also, you need to defend country.
That's a very good thought. Yeah.
And to that end, you need to be proactive and practical.
Right.
So what we have taken, we don't want to grant sanction for individual projects. Means no arbitrariness. We want to make policy-based decisions.
Right.
And to that end we started. And that's how the story grew.
You had a meeting with the Defence Ministry officials. Now they must have given some priority projects. And have you put out a time-bound program for them? Or
in my usual style, I ask my ministry first, what are the pending projects of the department from the defence. And in my usual style, I also got the list from the Defence Ministry also.
Right.
So immediately that was there.
Okay.
So status we sought and immediately we took two decisions.
Right.
Karwar was one hub.
Very big
Nitin,
one.
you know what a strategic importance of having a separate hub from other than Mumbai on the western coast.
That's right.
In face of the hostilities we are surrounded by. But we badly needed a naval base where the frigates, where the aircraft carrier, where the submarines and everything can be settled, docked and serviced, and at the same time there will be a Navy Nagar and there will be lakhs of jobs arising out of it. This such a strategic importance center was not okayed for 3 years. I really felt pity why this was weathered. There is no quid pro quo. There is nothing can be said about national defence. If it is defence requirement, we must grant. We discussed 30 minutes.
Right.
I saw the file 30 minutes and I sanctioned it in 3 minutes, which was pending for 3 years.
Excellent. You did the same thing about the Andaman, the Narkodam Island also.
Narkodam Island, we have to finally still yet to give, because we have said some alternative also we are thinking of, not of the island, but how to not to harm the hornbills.
Right.
And because I am really nature lover.
Correct.
So, but when you know that Myanmar has handed over the cocoa to the Chinas, and in their larger Bay of Bengal strategy, they have already put up all surveillance mechanism there.
Correct.
So you need to have a radar there.
Yes.
So whether radar to be taken to the hilltop or whether it can be mounted on a tower, that's a practical thing. I am ready to listen to all views.
That's right.
But we must do it. National defense, there is no other alternative for that.
Correct.
So we must find out a way which will protect both.
That's right. But talking about Karwar, Western Ghats has been a major controversy. Madhav Gadgil report, then the Kasturirangan report. What are you doing on that?
See, Madhav Gadgil and Kasturirangan reports are based on satellite images.
Right.
We have asked all the 7 states concerned because there is a lot of anxiety in all the states. And there are many problems faced also, and there are definitely very different views from both sides.
Correct.
What I am finding out is a synthesis. We are synergizing the views. And what we are doing is we have asked the states to do the ground truthing. Because that ground truthing and the village committees, they will tell what is right and what is not.
Right.
So, we are listening to we will listen to, after the ground truthing exercise, we listen to the states, we listen to the public representatives, we listen to the voice of those villages which are covered under that.
Stakeholders you're getting on
unless I do that, it will be a horrible mistake to go ahead.
Right. So, similarly, if you look at the World Health Organization reports on polluted cities across the world, India has a large number of cities which are polluted. Do you have any plan in mind to get...
Definitely. See, our priority has to be clean air, clean water and waste management.
Right.
This is for our own self. Not out of any international compulsion.
That's right.
Not out of any other binding agreement. It is our own agreement to ourselves.
That's right.
It is tryst with destiny that we have to make, that we will make our country clean, more cleaner, and there are this needs maximum citizen partnership. It must become a public movement because now China and everybody is experiencing that what smog can do to them.
Right.
Or so everybody is paying price for air pollution, water pollution. There was a wonderful CAG report, Nitin,
Yes.
in which there was said that 1/3 of our industrial pollutants go untreated in the water bodies.
Village,
1/2 of our domestic waste goes untreated in water bodies, and 2/3 of our agriculture waste, pesticide and fertilizers,
Sure.
go untreated. So, if that is the scale of level of pollution in the water, you can imagine pollution in the air also, because we are feeling it every day.
True.
And so we have to change on our own, and that's our priority.
So, rivers are also a priority in that.
Rivers is priority, so it is not only Ganga. When we talk about Ganga mission, it is actually the rivers mission.
Rivers.
And I know for certain that in Europe, 50 years ago, rivers were as bad as we are experiencing our years today.
Right.
But they decided, walk the talk, and they achieved the target. So we will also.
We can expect you to walk the talk on that.
Absolutely.
And you know, in the previous NDA government, one of the pet projects was the interlinking of rivers. What is the stand now?
See, the fascinating name was Ganga Kaveri.
Right.
But interlinking of river is essentially inter-basin transfers,
Sure.
which are feasible, which are within the state or adjoining states. Two states, if they come together, and that is how Ken Batwa,
Right.
UP and Madhya Pradesh have worked.
Correct.
Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, many other states have done their own river linking schemes. So that should happen all over, because confluence in the sea, why you throw water into the sea when you can preserve it and use it for irrigation,
Right.
or drinking or industrial purposes. All these are important.
Correct. You also spoke about taking all stakeholders on board on various issues on environment. But there was this recent report by the Intelligence Bureau on NGOs. What is your view on this? You know, there are these controversies that NGOs are anti-development, anti-India. Well, how do you see it as a government spokesperson as well as a minister?
No, I have not seen the detailed report. I'll study it now.
Yeah.
Our committee is looking into it. But the issue is this, that I know that NGO is also, there are many committed NGOs for the cause.
Right.
And those who are committed for the cause are welcome and will be on board. But there are also certain agencies which are trying to block the development process in India.
Right.
I don't want to go and don't want to be skeptic about it, or don't want to be create an unpleasant picture. Alarmist. I don't want to be alarmist, but at the same time, fact remains that world lobbying is there.
Right.
There are many efforts. We have to keep watch.
You were also a member of Global Legislators, if I'm not mistaken, which before you became a minister. Now that also was funded by earlier, I mean, the international NGOs and all that. So there's no issue about international NGOs funding NGOs per se.
I don't see any unless there is a specific case, because see, I found I started going into that forum with Suresh Prabhu.
Okay.
And so I found the whole dialogue about climate change very interesting.
Right.
And this time Modi ji has given this additional thing, climate change, to the Ministry of Environment and Forest. So the global dialogue, today I'll be leaving now for Nairobi.
Okay.
And this week, so that's the first ministerial conference of the UNEP on the, after all, we are heading for the climate dialogue of 2015 in Paris.
Correct.
So before the COP, things will happen, but we want to be proactive, we want to be positive, and we want not to be seen as villainish, but partners in progress.
That's true. I need to take a break, but when we come back, we will ask Mr. Javadekar about his other avatar, the Minister of Information and Broadcasting. Welcome back. We are in conversation with Mr. Prakash Javadekar, who is also the Minister for Information and Broadcasting. Mr. Javadekar, dual responsibilities for you. Information and Broadcasting, of course, is the voice of the government. How do you see this ministry projecting the government's achievements and government's work?
Definitely, this is a bridge between the government and the people. And we want to establish the two-way communication. That's the new thing.
Right.
So it is not only the government achievements or government progress which we will report to the public, but we will take people's aspirations also and people's feedback also to the government.
How do you propose to do that?
We will do it ensuring, see, now is the social media platforms. We have already started a social media hub.
Right.
And we are creating digital volunteers, expanding the network.
Okay.
So anybody who is on digital platform can become digital volunteer of our ministry, and through that he can communicate. Also, we have the field and song and drama and field publicity unit and many PIBs and everywhere. So throughout the country we get daily feedback. We watch all the 700 channels. We will be listening to all the radios also, community FM and all others.
Right.
So we'll get feedback, and that feedback is important aspect of democracy.
One of the criticism in the last 1 month after the new government has taken charge is that the government wants to do a one-way communication with the media. I'm not talking about the people. You're not accessible, your ministers are not speaking out, is one of the charges.
No.
What do you have to say to that?
This is just 3 weeks into the government. First week is a week of crash where all your systems collapse because there are lot many people to come to you, to meet you, greet you. So next week you just know what the department is all about. So the 3rd week is where you start a little bit assembling your staff and doing things and start taking immediate decisions. So we are already taking decisions, but communication, yes, we have started, and from next week you will find ministers talking to the media. It will not be one-way communication. We'll listen to also. I'll give you every day 1 hour walk-in for all press. So as usual, as I was doing
that
it,
is doing as a spokesperson.
So we'll have walk-in and we'll have quite an interaction. So this problem will not be there after next.
There should be no apprehension on that.
Yeah.
But from what you have said so far, I get a feeling that you're going to increasingly use social media for a lot of communication. The government.
I think today this election itself has signified the importance of social media. It's growing.
Right.
Nitin, I tell you, you ask just drivers of your TV channel's car. Every driver, every cameraman must be having 2 Facebook accounts at least. So that's the reality of India.
Correct.
And they are interacting on their regional languages. We will go on all regional languages. It's not only Hindi, English. It's all regional languages. So this is how we should use that platform also. But we'll use all traditional platforms also. And as we said that Prasar Bharati, independence, autonomy, we always respect. We want to become a more effective vehicle. As our target is to make DD more popular, not imposing, but making it a first choice of people.
I also get a feeling, correct me if I am wrong, that more and more use of Indian Information Service officers, PIB, is now being seen in this government, which is a good thing to happen. Do you have a plan?
I always believe that you can't curse bureaucracy always. There are very good officers.
Right.
And we can create team out of officers, because they are also nation-loving people.
Right.
They are also dedicated people. They have also some dream. They have also some vision. If we make part, if we can make them part of our grand vision of national, in a way, renaissance, and in which we want to build a nation and make it faster progressing state, so they are part and parcel of us.
So Prasar Bharati, you were saying that it will remain autonomous. Obviously,
It is always.
It has always been autonomous. But why does one get a feeling so far, not in your government, but so far, that Prasar Bharati is autonomous only in name? So how do you want to change that feeling?
Actually, that professionalism, what happened is, large amount of government investment has gone into Prasar Bharati.
Right.
But the DD and air popularity has not come down, but air reach has come down because of technical reasons.
Right.
And DD's popularity has gone down because of many reasons. I have taken stock, I have taken stock, talked to all stakeholders, will continue to do so,
Right.
and will make them realize that unless you become professional and competitive in the competitive environment, you won't survive. It's not only the government money which can push you up.
Right.
It is only your content and people's awareness that is what will actually.
Right. Mr. Javadekar, what is your view on FDI and media?
As far as FDI in media is concerned, already there is 100% FDI in entertainment.
Right.
As far as news is concerned, it's 26%. It's up to actually the industry to react. Okay. Unless they demand or they say something, where is the it is not the government agenda.
Right.
It has to be an industry agenda.
Okay.
Let that come at a stage, then we'll discuss it.
Have they come to you, industry?
No, they have discussed it, but there are views.
Okay.
So let us see about how much we can allow it in news, and what is the nation, what actual FDI will come in. That also important. We were told that in insurance there will be 12 millions will come, only 1.2 billion came.
Yeah.
So that's the issue.
That's right. One final question. Your predecessor had said we don't need the INB ministry.
No.
What is your view on that?
Now, after one interview to the one channel, I am now not answering this question, because even if I put the word ideologically, philosophically, still people construe it. See, this ministry has a role to play in a positive communication, not from the government side, but it's a people's forum. And now Prahlad Kakkad and others had come to me for Goa Festival. There are many angles.
Right.
And so you need a ministry, but you don't want an interventionist ministry.
Okay.
And we will not be the interventionist ministry. We'll allow all organs to grow organically and in a more vibrant manner.
And it will be finally the voice of the government as far as the ministry for projection and otherwise.
No, that is one mandate.
Right.
But there are many other things which we are doing. It's a people's voice.
Right. So this ministry will be the people's voice.
Yes.
Really. Right. On that note, Mr. Javadekar, thank you very much for the time that you have given us, and we wish you all the best.